reminder to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified when I upload anything new.
Excuse? It's a learned character. It's a character that is learned.
You think is learned?
Yeah.
How about people that have anger, temperament issues, people that just cannot control their anger?
There has to be a root cause. Either he was victim
Such an
in
environment.
such an environment, or
Some
Yeah.
of these men have seen their parents do it. So it's like,
that's correct.
Exactly. So you see it as a normal.
yeah, it's learned.
And I think,
Learned, because it's something that is learned
Yeah.
over time.
yeah. And I think at the same time, like I said, for me, normally when we talk about growth and adult, I always take it back down to the root. In as much as you grow older, you can choose a part of your life. You know, change is the only constant thing in life. You have your life is your life, right? I still always take it down to the root of the environment in which you were raised. If you were raised in such an environment that your dad or your mom trained you as a woman that it is not easy or it is not right for you to be totally honest with your husband because they were abusive, or you are raised in such an environment that your father tells you that if you don't beat a woman, they don't hear a word. Do you understand? Like a woman needs to be battered before you can communicate to them. If that's the kind of environment, either you implicitly said it or you explicitly said it or you demonstrated it, whichever way you might have passed the message that child, that child lives with that mentality in the society. And even it might not be in their home, it might be in their neighbors, always battering the wife, and then your father never sees anything bad in it. It's always like, first of all, it's none of our business. Second of all, the wife too stubborn. You know, finding excuses to justify the act of the perpetrator. It could also be, so I quite agree with you if you say it is a learned act. It's not just over time, it just happened. It's something that you have grown up with. You learned it along the way to see that it is right.
Mothers should know that when you're enduring or you're not moving away from a perpetrator, you do not know how it's affecting the children. The children will grow up with trauma. Okay? Because always the children, when mom is not okay, believe me, they're not okay. You know?
No matter how you
Yeah.
pretend, your
No matter
kids
how
know.
pretend, they know. And you don't want kids to grow up bitter and not wanting to get married for the rest of their life because of the experience they saw on their father, which doesn't define a standard man of the day. I believe everyone is an individual and everyone should be judged differently. The most courageous things to do is to walk away and seek help.
Seek help. Yeah.
You know, I've lost friends, but I stood up my ground. I have no regrets. It's just for me, it's more of a blessing because then I know they were not surely my friends. And some of them still continue talking to you. And it's like nothing happens. And that breaks my heart because you judged me when I made a step for my life, when I took the right choice, even though it was so hard to do it. Believe me, when you're in marriage, this is a person that the Bible says you're one. And all of a sudden, that person is just like a shadow. It is not easy. As I walk my journey, I hope for better days ahead. I have days that I don't want to even come out of the house. You know, I have days that you would really wonder, is this Judith? You know, I have days when I completely lose myself. I wouldn't say that I am that person that my mother gave birth to me. I have so much wound that every day is a journey for me to heal them. And I am happy because even in that cycle, I am safe. I have validation of myself. I have achievement that I've made and I'm proud of myself. And the system in this country, it's the best that worked for me. I still get my ongoing counseling. I still have improved. I go out. I don't lose myself. I know who I am and I know where I want to be, you know? And maybe just to wrap up, I would say to young people, take your time to court the person you want to be. See that person as your gold. See how the gold was formed. See how it was processed in the heat, how it repels on the heat, how it explodes when it has no resources. Then you can sit down and say, this is my gold.
But we've seen situations where people caught their partner for years and they got married and it felt like they married a total stranger out of the blues. Like, I'm a huge party of courting. But at the same time, I also believe that it is never how far, it is how well. That has been proven over time and over time. You can date someone for 10 years before you guys get married and you still don't know who that person is. And it all lies in the originality of what that person decides to portray in the start of the relationship. Some people are just so good at pretending to be who they are not. Some people have lived their life in a lie that they themselves as an individual don't know what the truth of their life is. Until when a situation happens and then it begins to reveal their real identity. Some people have lost track of who they are. Being a Christian, not a religious person, it's important to pray about it. But I don't believe in the way a lot of pastors, elders in church have ruined and killed the life of their people, all in the name of, it's domestic violence, it's your husband, you have to respect him, stay in there. God does not like divorce. God doesn't like divorce. In fact, when you get to the gate of heaven, God will ask you, like, did I, when the sense or the brain I gave you, how come you lost it also? Like, you don't have any common sense. Because it will be like, so you voluntarily sacrifice yourself to be a lamb. After I've sent Jesus Christ to die, you want to die again. Divorce is never always the best option. We all know that. But there's nothing wrong with separating and seeking help individually.
Yeah, and the Bible says that.
Yes,
There's nothing wrong with when you just separate ways and both of you seeking help. Yeah, and seeking help.
Last video that even if any reconciliation is going to happen, the first thing you need to do is leave first. Last question is, did you have like any external factor trying to influence your decision when you try to leave?
So much.
Of course.
So much. I am telling you.
Your family? Is family?
No, I have a very good support system from my mother. She could feel it. I hid so much from her, but she's told me it is time to move. Until actually,
the mom was actually the one who saw the vision that she might die, actually.
do not underestimate the strength of a mother. I got some point where I got threatened that, you know what, I'm going to chop your head off. You know, if someone's sleeping next to you.
He said,
I'm going to
chop that to you.
Yeah, no. And he said, you think I'm drunk?
Chop your head off?
Yes. He said, you think I'm drunk? You might think I'm drunk. I'm not. When I do it, then you will realize it is true. I will make sure I slit your big tummy that you cannot carry child for me. I will slit it. You will never get found.
Did you hear that too?
Okay? You talk to every man. You sleep with every man. You know? You were disgusting. You were fat. You were the last thing. You know, I'm just trying to put it in English. You don't have nothing. And I look at myself and I braced my shoulder and I told God, I came to this country very young. I'm just like any other young woman who came to look for better life. Yeah? Do not let me die in vain. Because at that moment, I felt it in my guts that really I was going to die. God, please, because of my child, don't let me die in vain. My sister, I went to sleep. And on my sleep, I got carried away. And something just, all of a sudden, I just woke up. And somebody's next to me. He's telling me, so you're afraid to die. I was on my surviving mode. I said to myself, I will not die. I didn't even know how strength. I didn't even know how I got myself out of that situation. At that time, I felt like I just want him to die. And I said, it is either I seek help or I will be the one committing the crime. You know, I went and called the 1800 respect number, 1800 respect number. And that's how I got my salvation.
Violence. It's enough to say domestic violence is not good, it's not good, it's not good. We all know that it can kill. It has made a lot of children motherless. It has made a lot of children fatherless.
Yeah.
And we know that it happens to the male gender, it happens to the female gender. There is nobody there is not a female thing.
So, in a nutshell, I would tell every single woman, every single man, please, if you hear any domestic violence seminar, go. You do not have to experience it to know how to tackle it. First, have the awareness. Be aware. What is domestic violence? When you have that information capacitated to you, then you would know the green light even before you experience it. You will have a backup. That's when I decided to leave. The family of him was also making the domestic violence even worse because they're the ones who still make you, because they want you to stay there. They take sides at the moment. Nobody cares about you at that point. But that's when I said, you know what? I have to stick up for myself for the sake of the child that I brought to this world, for the sake of my family, and for the sake of myself. I decided to make a decision and I said, I'm not going to let anyone put me down for whatever reasons.
But domestic violence transcends from emotional abuse. It goes through mental abuse, then physical abuse. Yeah, it's not only when you're slapped in the face or you're punched like a punching bag that you realize that now I'm being abused. It all starts from the words that you hear. Emotionally, you're being battered like, oh, look at you. You can never, words that naturally make you feel like you're worthless.
Reproductive abuse.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a reproductive abuse where
Yeah.
you as a woman, you need a partnership that works for you, for both of you to decide, okay, when are you ready to have a child? Then we can
it all comes, it's psychological. And then
come down and say, oh, I've been with you for 3 years, you don't have anything, you can't provide a child out of you, that's why you just have a big belly, we need to slit it and see what's inside. Apart from the physical, the emotional, there's also the reproductive abuse.
yes.
Okay, I never knew. I found myself going to doctor's appointments. I asked him, let's go get tested. He would not show up. Okay, he would not show up. But at the same time, it is my fault that the baby is not coming forth when I already have a child. Okay,
I think even friends, families can actually abuse you in the sense of reproduction, right? It could be mother-in-laws. It could be your own personal mother. You never know when it comes to. So it's reproductive abuse. It could happen not just within the context of you and your husband. It could even be from external parties. Above all, I think when it comes to abuse, basically people shouldn't just focus until when the man starts beating them up. It starts from your psychological abuse. It starts from emotional abuse. It affects you mentally. You get into the state of depression. Now that is you losing your mental sanity. Even women do it to men, insulting them, their husband, because all of a sudden things are not going the way it's planned. We started insulting him, psychologically because he cannot afford some things anymore. Yeah, it could be a financial abuse, exactly, which has degenerated to psychology. She might not need to, beat the man. But the words of her mouth is enough for the man to say, at this point, I don't mind if I die before going home. That is also a real abuse. So when we talk about...
We can go on and on this topic. We will not finish it because there's so much.
It's important for people to know that, exactly, domestic violence cuts across any form of abuse you want to see that makes a human being feel that their life is not worth living, or it makes a human being feel worthless.
I can say, for those who, when you're a victim, do not let the perpetrator know that you're about to walk away.
Yeah.
because that is when they lose their shit.
Yeah.
So
They could
it's
actually,
like
they could kill you before you walk away.
they lose their control, and sometimes they would shower you with gifts, like what my ex-husband did when he realized that, oh really, she's gonna leave. Oh, he would shower me with gifts, or you know, and be nice for 6 months and then go back again to the to the bad cycle. So it is a phase. Just seek help.
And narcissists are fond of doing that, as well as love bombers. Even in relationship, he shouts at you today, you're upset. You guys are not even married yet. And then before you even say one word, it tells you to shut up and blah, blah, blah. And then the moment you start feeling like, okay, you know what, this relationship, I'm no longer interested. It comes to your door with roses, flowers, buy you a new car, and then makes you feel like I was just angry, you know. I was not in the right frame of mind. And you're like, okay, it's first time, it's no big deal. You went back again, then you know, gradually another thing happened. It becomes an habit that it feels like it traps you in the middle of his hand. You become like a finger in the middle of his palm, and it feels like when I twist you this way or I twist you this way, I know the way I can always find you back. Because it feels like you are in my hole until I release the clasp of my hand before you can get out. But being whoever is the victim, you have to find a way to squeeze yourself out of that hole without, you know, without making him suspect that you are dragging away. Or else all he just needs to do is to squeeze the life out of you, and that's it.
Thank you so much, Judith, for doing this. I really appreciate you. I hope that people out there get to listen to your story and learn one or two things from your experience. And thank you so much, Blessing, for coming on board. Thank you for
And thank you for having me as well. I
Thank
really
you for having us.
Just as Judith and Blessing have said, if you are still single, make sure that you know your man. How is he treating you? If he's treating you like a queen, fine. Make sure you also look at how he's treating other people around you, be it his maid. Be very sure before you enter that marriage, because a failed relationship is better than a failed marriage. And if you're already married and you're experiencing same thing as what Judith experienced, I think now is the time to leave. Seek counseling. Talk to people. Did you enjoy this video? What are your thoughts? I would love to hear them. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like, follow me on social media. I'm going to be dropping my Instagram and on the description box. Please guys, also subscribe to my friend's YouTube channel. Her name is Blessing Omoniyi. I'll be putting a link to her YouTube channel in the description box as well too. See you in my next video. Bye.